You're Sperp back with another video, and I just got done watching Analog Squad on Netflix. This is a brand new limited series, and man, I'm just blown away. So, this series is about this man, Pawn, that hires this fake family to go visit his sick father that is pretty much looking like he's on his deathbed. And where this story goes, I was just not expecting how things played out. Um, the guy to the far left is Pawn. You might recognize him from the movie Hunger that came out earlier this year on Netflix, and that guy is just really dope, man, as an actor. Forgive me if I don't know his name off the top of my head, but yeah, like I said, this is all about Pond creating this fake family, hiring his ex, Lily, that's to the far right, you know what I'm saying, and his two fake kids, Keg and Bong, and they kind of really settle all that in like the first episode where they go to the hospital to visit his father, and it's not looking really good, and it kind of catches everybody else off guard that this man is damn near on his deathbed, and they have to kind of fake play house for the moment, just for that day, because Pond kind of feels embarrassed that he lost his actual family. Like, his wife left him. He hasn't seen his kids in 20 years. And what I like about this series is just how it's just all about family. All these different lies and secrets that each character kind of has, or they have to deal with different things within their own personal family. Because after the whole first episode, you know, they get to have moments with Pond's family and they kind of go their separate ways. We see how all the other individual characters' families are, and how dysfunctional, and how much they have to kind of work out certain situations, or fix certain relationships, and new relationships, new bonds kind of form out of this group. And I love how they start off with Bong's character. Bong is my favorite character for sure. She is really dope. She's the cinephile, and when you get her kind of backstory, it seems like she has a perfect life, like a perfect family. Like, she thought this whole entire time that her father was just going to work, and that's why he was never there on on her birthday. But until we get to like episode 2, where her father was in a car accident, and her father is okay, but then it gets revealed that his father had a mistress, or just somebody on the side, got that chick pregnant, had a whole kid, had a whole nother kind of separate life, and that was just like kind of earth shattering for her. And how Bong and Keg play like fake brother and sister, but they obviously, Keg has like feelings for Bong, and seeing kind of how that starts to develop throughout the whole entire series was really dope. He was there when she found out that Bong has this brother, and found out all these secrets about her father. And then we get to kind of like Keg, where he is dealing with the fact that his mom has been a nude model. So his whole life, since he was young, he was always kind of embarrassed and never wanted people to find out who his mom was. So he'd always kind of get a fake mom to kind of let people know, like, oh, this is my mom. And him not knowing really who his dad is, not knowing his dad was in his life for a few years. He's also a person that's works in a call center, and this takes place in 1999. a few weeks, I think, before Y2K, and that's kind of how they kind of tell the story. It's kind of building up to the new year, and I like that they don't go super crazy with the pop culture references or the nostalgia. The most you get is like a Matrix reference, which I really liked from Bong's character, and also like the Tamagotchis, and you know what I'm saying, like, and the conspiracy that the world was going to end. I really liked how they kind of tied all that into the story and not try to beat you over the head like, oh, this is 1999. Like, here's another pop culture reference. Here's another pop culture reference. Like, it's very subtle, and I really appreciate that. But it's also kind of interesting to see, you know, the early stages before we got into like text messaging and emails and stuff like that. Very fascinating. I think that was really handled well. But there's another character, like I said, Lily, that is Pawn's ex. She's also dealing with a lot of like secrets of her own, where she lost her family when she was very young. She was always kind of by herself and isolated, and you know, she has to deal with the fact that she has breast cancer, and that was a really sad kind of revelation for her character, or just when you find out exactly what's going on with her, and her having to kind of deal with this alone, and not so much once you get towards like the end of this series. And once they kind of take Pawn out of the picture, because we figure out that Pawn also has an interesting backstory, and he has formed a lot of lies since he was young, and there was this tragedy that happened to one of his best friends, and I love that, you know, once we find out exactly why he resents his father and whatnot, that it's really about him kind of making things right with his family, whether it be his father, his actual daughter, just his family in general. And I love his mom in this as well. His mom was really like the heart of this show, and how she interacted with each individual character, while Pawn was kind of out of the picture for at least like, I would say like 3 episodes, maybe 4. He doesn't pop back up, and we find out like, you know, he owes people money. He's been lying his whole life, and all this stuff is kind of starting to catch up with him. It's just such a fascinating show to kind of watch. It's like, it's going to hit you with so many emotions all at once. There's a lot of funny, dope moments, and there's a lot of moments that are just absolutely heartbreaking that a lot of these characters kind of go through. But what I love about this show overall is just how it's about family, and how all these interconnected stories they can somewhat relate to what Pawn is going through, as far as having family issues and how they're going to resolve them, and them kind of forming their own kind of family, you know, out of these lies and secrets and everything that's going on. It's just so well performed, acted. There's some phenomenal shots. I think my favorite shot of this entire series is there's this shot of the actual Meg that you get to meet later on in the series, where she's kind of looking off into the distance as this boat is kind of like in the background, kind of drifting off. I just love that scene. That was beautiful. But I feel like there's so much relatability with a lot of these different characters, depending on like, you know, how you feel about it. Like, Bong is my favorite character. I think she has the most interesting. And then you got Keg, and then you got Lily, Pond, all these other characters that kind of come up, and just, man, like, but my favorite episode, I think, that hit hard the most was episode 5, for sure. That was definitely the most emotional episode. But I loved how this episode ended. They tied up everything that they kind of was building up throughout the series. And I just think this is a series that's definitely worth watching if you have Netflix. It's about 8 episodes long. Each episode's almost like an hour. So, I had to take my time with it, but I'm so glad that I watched it. It's definitely one of my favorite shows that just kind of dropped out of nowhere. But if you do get around to checking this out, I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. That's just my quick thoughts on this without going into heavy spoilers, because I would love to, but I think this is better to kind of go into this series blind and see where it kind of goes for you. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Till next time, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.